In addition, the slides, recording, and the resource guide, which should be mentioned later, will be posted on our Prepare to Arrive section of our website. And now, allow me to introduce the dedicated York International team for the Orientation and Transition portfolio. First, we have Eugene Lee, who is the International Orientation and Conversation Coordinator that oversees the portfolio, and I'm Rachel, the Student Coordinator for the portfolio as well. By the end of today's session, we hope that you have a better understanding and knowledge of what to expect in the Canadian post-secondary classroom, how students may be evaluated in their classes, why group project work is a very important part of learning, and which academic resources can support you at your university. Our goal for you is to know what to expect and where to go when you need help. And these outcomes are connected to real situations that you may experience in your first few weeks, such as reading a course outline, participating in a discussion, working in a group, or asking for academic help. And today we'll begin with the Canadian classroom structure, specifically at York University, and then we'll move into some key tasks to complete before coming to Canada, how to prepare for your classes and to support your success, the importance of group work, academic integrity, academic resources, and finally, we go over a Q&A and some closing remarks. And now I'll pass it over to our student success team to continue the main part of the presentation. And as we move along, you may want to write down one or two resources from today that you may plan to explore after the webinar. So now I'll pass it on to Anvi.
Thank you, Rachel. Hi, everyone. We're the York International Student Success Team, and our role is to support international students as they navigate their academic journey at York. So here's the team for student success at York International. First up, we have Nikita, our International Student Experience Coordinator. Next, we have Ann, our Student Coordinator. And lastly, myself. My name is Anvi, and I'm the Social Media and Marketing Assistant at York International. Let's begin with the Canadian classroom structure at York. For many students, this may be different from what you're used to, and that is completely okay. A major part of Canadian classroom culture is critical thinking. This means that you're not only expected to memorize information, but also to analyze, question, compare, and explain your ideas. Participation is also important. Your voice matters, and in many classes, students are encouraged to ask questions, share perspectives, and engage in discussions. And if you're feeling nervous about speaking in class, don't worry. I felt exactly the same when I first arrived, and it really does get easier with time. Class sizes can also vary. Some classes are large lectures where you may focus on listening and note taking, while smaller classes or tutorials may involve more discussions and direct interaction, which means closer connections. An important thing to note is that participation is key, so do not just sit and listen. Take notes, engage, and while smaller classes or tutorials might not have that much engagement, this helps create an engaging and interactive experience and environment. Professors are also here to guide and support your learning. They may challenge your thinking, but also they are people you can approach through questions, email, or office hours. You may also experience different teaching styles, such as lectures, group projects, online discussions, labs, or field activities. Each style has their own unique twist to the learning experience. Firstly, Canadian classroom often expects self-directed learning. This means taking responsibility for your own preparation, using resources, and asking for support when you need it. Another part of self directed learning is planning your time outside the classroom. Independence is one of the main key to academic growth and success. The hours you spend reading, reviewing, practicing, or preparing on your own are just as important as the time you spend in a lecture. To help guide us through today's session, let me introduce you to Aisha. Aisha is an incoming business economics student from Mumbai, India. She had straight A's in high school and is excited to begin at York. But she's also nervous about starting university in a new country. Her mother tongue is Hindi and high school instruction was in English, so she's comfortable with English but still adjusting to a new academic environment. She also loves volunteering in her free time. Through Aisha's story, we will look at the steps one student might take to prepare for the Canadian classroom. We will also explore the thinking behind her choices, including the questions she asks and the resources she uses to feel prepared. Aisha is not meant to represent every international student experience, but her story gives us a helpful way to connect today's advice to real decisions and feelings that many students may recognize. Before coming to Canada, Aisha focused on a few key tasks. First, she enrolled in courses. Course selection can look different depending on your faculty and program, so it is important to follow the instructions that apply to your own academic pathway. Second, she participated in YU Start, which helped her connect with peers, student leaders, and information about campus life even before arriving. Third, she engaged with YU Prep to learn more about academic expectations and how to transition into her first year. Aisha also made a habit of saving important documents so that she will receive many links, contacts, and resources. So create a folder or document where you save what matters. Future you will be thankful when you do not have time to search through old emails or chats to find that one resource. This preparation also helped her feel more in control. When students complete these steps early, they have more time to ask questions, fix issues, and focus on setting into a new environment. Next slide. Before classes begin, Aisha continued preparing. She attended international exchange student orientation, which helped her learn about key resources for international students, including health services, immigration support, and ways to connect with your community. She also joined the academic orientation to better understand what professors expect, what academic success looks like, and how learning at York may feel different from high school or previous studies. Aisha then checked her class schedules and locations because York has Keele, Glendon, and Markham campuses. It is important to check the correct campus, building, room number, and travel time. This helped her avoid confusion the first week, making it more manageable. For example, a course listed at a different campus may require extra travel time, and two buildings with similar name can be confusing at first. Checking these details early helped prevent avoidable stress. Aisha also prepared for practical side of coming to campus. She checked the weather before leaving home so she could dress appropriately, especially because she may need to walk between classes, wait for transit, or travel between campuses. She packed essentials such as a charger, lunch, water bottle, notebook, student card, and any course specific items you might need, like textbooks or live items. She also took time to explore campus before the first day. York can feel like a maze at first, so finding classrooms, dining areas, libraries, and support offices ahead of time can reduce stress. Whether you're at Keele, Glendon, or Markham, learning your campus layout early can make your first day go much smoother. Small practical choices like bringing a charger or checking the weather can affect how comfortable and focused you feel during the day. Being prepared physically can also help you feel more prepared mentally. Next, I will pass it on to Ann for Aisha's top tip for class success as well as introduction to academic integrity.
Thank you, Anwi. Now, I know that integrating into a new Canadian classroom and learning styles can be quite challenging and nerve-wracking. So, let me tell you that it is very normal to feel nervous before classes begin, just like when I first started university myself. You may be wondering if the classes will be difficult, if your English is not good and strong enough, if you will make friends, or if you will adjust quickly to the new environment. Nervousness does not mean you are unprepared. It is often means that you care about doing well. Many students feel this way, even if they do not say it out loud. So here is something important to remember. York University would have not admitted you if they do not believe you were capable of thriving in your program. You were selected because you have the ability, experience, and potential to succeed here. Confidence may take time to build, but you belong at York and you do not have to figure everything out alone. When challenges come up, try to see them as part of the adjustment process rather than proof that you do not belong. Support exists because students are expected to ask questions and learn as they go. So, continuing Ayesha's tip for class success, after her first few weeks of classes, Ayesha noticed a few habits that made a big difference. First, arriving on time helped her settle in, hear announcement, and start class without stress. Second, she learned to embrace the diversity around her. Your classroom includes students with different cultures, languages, experiences, and viewpoints, and that diversity can make discussions much richer and broaden her views. Third, she treated her class outline like a roadmap. The course outline explains deadlines, midterm details, grading breakdowns, expectations, required materials, and important policies. And finally, she made sure to buy or access her textbook and course materials early so she can prep for her classes. Ayesha also learned that preparation looks different for each classes. Some courses may require reading before every lecture, while other may focuses on lab, which focus on hands-on technique, or tutorials, which focuses more on practicing questions and solving problems, or even weekly reflections. So this slide shows an example of the type of information you would find in a course outline. I would really recommend using the course outline as a planning tool. Add important dates to your calendar, including assignment, quizzes, midterms, final exams, participation expectations, and office hours. So these type of information will be found in your course outline. So and what is exactly is office hour? So office hour is a session designed to allow students to meet up with the professor one-on-one and ask questions regarding class content and discussions. The course outline can also tell you what materials you need, how grades are calculated, and what policies apply in that class. If something is unclear, ask your professor or teaching assistant early instead of waiting until the deadline is close. It is one of the most reliable documents for understanding what your instructor expects. Please note that course outline for each course may be different from each other, so please check your course outline for each course instead of assuming that the same study style and the weight of the midterms and exams are the same. Ayesha also learned a few tricks for staying ahead of class, so she became comfortable navigating e-class because announcements, assignments, readings, and grades are often posted there. She also learned about the York 9.0 grading scale, which is different from most of the university here, so she could better understand how her performance was being accessed and allowed her to see realistic goals and what to expect to succeed in her courses. So, and respect also matters Making a good impression is built through small, consistent actions, such as attending classes, being prepared, participating when possible, asking for help, and submitting your work on time. One of my tip is to sit closer to the prof, as this allow you to concentrate better and also allow you to easily engage and interact with the prof, as these could help set good impression by the professor. These habits may seem small, but together they create a strong and academic routine. Now, another tool that Ayesha found helpful was the York GPA calculator. So this can help students understand where they stand, estimate how different grades may affect their GPA, and set realistic goals for each courses. It does not replace academic advising, but it can help you stay aware of your progress. The main point here is to track your learning early. If the calculator shows that you are not where you want to be, do not panic, but instead use it as a reminder to speak with your instructor, attend office hours, or adjust your study plan to allow your grades to reach somewhere more pleasing. Another observation Ayesha made was that there is strong emphasis on group work in many Canadian classrooms. So, group work at York is not only about dividing tasks and putting everything together at the end, just like how we usually do it in high school. It is about collaboration, communication, and combining different strengths together. Ayesha learned that group projects can help students build friendships, find study partners, and develop skills like communication, leadership, and organization. Just like me myself, a lot of my friends I talk till nowadays are from the group project I had in my first and second year. Again, clear communication is key. Assigning roles early, setting deadlines, and mapping out the project from the beginning can prevent last-minute stress and allow a more quality work since you don't get to panic and have more time to proofread, making sure that everything is ready to go. It is also important to work with integrity, meaning everyone contributes fairly and sources are cited properly. Group work also means being respectful of different communication styles, strengths, and also schedules, since others might have different schedules, part-time job, other extracurricular activities to do. Now, let's move on to academic integrity. So, academic integrity is not something we usually hear in high school, or at least back in my country. So, academic integrity means being honest, fair, and responsible in your studies. It includes doing your own work, giving credit when you use someone else's word or ideas, and following the rules for exams, assignments, and group work. This is very important part of the university learning in Canada, and expectations may be different from what some students have experienced before, just like I mentioned. And academic integrity applies to both individual and group work. So, from Ayesha's perspective, academic integrity is more than a rule. It is about owning her work and being proud of what she submits. She learned that integrity builds trust with professors and classmates. Citations are one part of this. So, if an idea, sentence, image, or data is not yours, you need to give credit. Ayesha also learned that consequences can go beyond a single grade. Academic offenses can affect reputations, scholarships, internships, or even future opportunities. So it is always better to ask questions before submitting work. For Ayesha, learning those expectations helped her feel more confident because she understood what was allowed, what was not allowed, and where she could ask for clarification. So let's talk about academic integrity in action. So AI and technology tools can be helpful, but only when your professor allows them. Tools like ChatGPT, Grammarly, translation software, or other writing tools may have different rules in different courses, so always check the syllabus or ask your professor or TA in advance. Group work also has its own boundaries, so working together is allowed when the assignment asks for it. But copying someone else's work is or sharing answer inappropriately can become a misconduct. And cultural differences also matter. So some academic habits may be normal in one education system, but not accepted here. The good news is that you are not expected to figure everything out alone. So, York University libraries can help with research skills, citation guides, and avoiding plagiarism. There's also the Writing Center, which can support writing, citations, and assignment structure. And again, the professors and TAs are also very important resources. Ask for help is not a weakness, it shows responsibility and it shows that you actually care and put in the effort for the work that you're doing. And adjusting to a new academic culture takes time, and the support are here to help you learn and succeed throughout your Canadian academic expectations. So again, this is just Ayesha's summary of what was mentioned above. So Ayesha's main academic integrity tips are simple. Do your own work, cite your sources, ask when you are unsure, use AI tools only when permitted, or use it to refine your writings only for such as grammar, misspellings, and start assignments early. I would really recommend starting your work early since I know that a lot of us here likes to procrastinate. But let me tell you that finishing your work early before deadline allows you to have more time to understand the instructions, plan and review your work to identify any mistakes or errors before submitting. And now I will pass it on to Rachel to provide some tips from our York International team, as well as some resource guide to help you succeed in your university.
Thank you, An. So now I want to share a few tips from the York International team. The first tip that I have for you is to set clear deadlines. So don't only write down the final due dates, but rather break large assignments into smaller tasks, such as choosing a topic, finding sources, outlining, drafting, editing, and then submitting. And a second tip I have is to come prepared to class. Get ready to review readings or videos beforehand and then write down any questions that you may have so you could ask the professor later on during the class. Third, use your syllabus as a planning tool. It can really help you organize your entire semester before things get really busy. And these strategies overall are most effective when you use them before you feel behind. So little planning at the start of the semester can save you a lot of stress, especially during midterms and final assignments. For staying organized, many students rely on a few key tools. First, a digital calendar can help track major deadlines and class schedules. So, like using a Google Calendar or like an Apple Calendar. Some people prefer to use a planner or an agenda can help with daily to-do lists. So your syllabus can also help you keep official course expectations in one place and also a strong note-taking system, whether that is using OneNote or using Google Docs. Some people also prefer to use GoodNotes on their iPad. Some people also prefer to use paper notes or maybe any other methods, as long as it helps you review and study more effectively. The exact tool matters less than using it consistently. While some students prefer digital systems, others prefer paper. But the best system is the one that you will actually check and update regularly. So this resource guide that we have here is designed to bring helpful academic success tools together. It also includes examples such as professional email templates, tips for communicating with professors or advisors, and resources that can support your transition to university life. So think of this resource tool as a starting point. So when you're unsure on how to ask a question, where to go, or how to prepare for any academic task, professional communication is really important in university because you may need to contact professors, teaching assistants, advisors, or campus offices. And having examples such as the one in the resource guide can make it easier to write clearly and respectfully. And moving on, we know that York has many academic success or many academic resources, and using them early can make a big difference. So academic advising is a very strong one, and it helps you understand your degree requirements, course planning, and also academic decision, keeping in mind that every student based on their program have different degree requirements, and everyone likes to plan their courses differently, and also understanding academic decisions. We also have our learning skills resources, which helps to support with time management, study strategies, and exam preparation. We also have a writing center, which helps you with essays, reports, maybe thesis, writing your thesis or a lab report, or giving you feedback on any writing that you may have for any of your classes. We also have the ESL Open Learning Center, which supports students who wants to strengthen their English communication skills. We also have the PASS, which offers peer-assisted study sessions. So the full meaning of PASS is peer-assisted study sessions for some courses. And then we have SNAC, which is a resource that supports students offering courses involving math, statistics, coding, Excel, and numeracy, accounting, finances, and so on and so forth. Then we also have peer tutoring and office hours, as Anne mentioned earlier. This will help you be able to clarify your difficult topics or difficult concepts in your classes. The main message behind this is don't wait until you're struggling badly. Use these resources that are here for you early and often. And remember that there's no shame in using academic support. In fact, we know that successful students often use these resources because they know that learning is stronger when they ask questions and get feedback. Then for students at the Keele campus, there are many study spaces available for you. We have the Scott Library, the Brofman Library at Schulich School of Business. We have the Second Student Center and the Stacy Science and Engineering Library are some of the examples that we have. My favorite is the Brofman Library at Schulich, but it's up to you to try different spaces and see where you focus best. Some students prefer quieter library spaces, while some people also enjoy a more social environment. So try to visit more of those study spaces during your first 2 weeks of classes. And once exams and deadlines get busy, it's very helpful for you to already know where you study best. At the Glendon and Markham campus, there are also dedicated study spaces for you. At Glendon, students may use spaces such as the Leslie Frost Library and also the student lounges that are available there. At the Markham campus, you can also use the Markham campus library and common areas. Wherever your classes are, take time early in the term to find study spaces that work for you. And if you're taking courses across more than one campus, so for example, if you have a course, you're offering a course in the Keele campus and you're also offering a course on the Markham campus, it's very useful for you to identify study spaces at each location. And this can help you use your breaks between classes more productively. So why is it important to have English confidence? English confidence can support students in three major areas. In academic success, it helps you understanding lectures, participating in class, and completing writing assignments. Socially, in terms of engagement, it helps students connect with diversity of community through clubs, events, and friendships. And in terms of professionally, it can also support networking, job applications, and interviews. Confidence doesn't usually mean being perfect. It just means being willing to practice, ask questions, and keep improving. It's also important to remember that many students are multilingual, and that is a strength. And building English confidence is not about losing your first language. It's about adding tools that helps you participate in academic and professional spaces. And one way to build our English confidence skills is through the York International's English Conversation Partners program. In this program, students can practice conversational English through weekly meetings and events. It's also a great way to meet students from different backgrounds, explore places on and off campus, and also build friendship. If this sounds helpful for you, scan the QR code on the screen or visit the link in the chat to learn more and apply before the deadline. Because the program is conversation based, we find that it gives students a lower pressure space to practice, make mistakes, ask questions, and become more comfortable using English in everyday situations. And also, we have the Academic and Communication Excellence Development Program. And this is also prepared to strengthen your academic communication skills, excel in collaboration, and become career ready with the certificate. You get to receive the full certificate, or you can choose to participate in individual workshops. The benefit of this program is learning through structured workshops, hands-on projects to showcase your knowledge and application skill. The link for that has been shared in the chat for you, or you can scan the QR code on the screen to learn more. So to conclude this section, the most important message is that you're not alone. Starting university in a new academic culture can feel overwhelming, but there are people, programs, and resources that are here to support you. Now, your role is to focus on preparing early, asking questions, using the resources, and giving yourself time to adjust. Give yourself permission to learn gradually, and your first semester is a time to build routines, understand expectations, and discover what support works for you best. And this will bring us to the end of our main presentation. Thank you for listening and for taking the step to prepare for the Canadian classroom. We'll now move into some frequently asked questions and open the space for your questions as well. As we move into the questions, please feel free to ask about anything connected to classroom expectations, preparations, resources, or academic adjustments. And if we cannot answer something fully today, we can definitely point you towards the right place. And now I see that we have a question in the chat that's asking, where can we find the course location? The course location for your courses are usually in your timetable. So if once you've created your timetable using the visual schedule builder and you've already enrolled in your courses, on your timetable, it's going to show you where the classes are located. And usually they're in abbreviations. So you have to go to a website or click on the location on the timetable, and then to list out all the full name of the location of your class location, and then you can use the campus map to get there. I hope that answered your question. So as we conclude the presentation, so please feel free to type in your questions in the Q&A section. And while we wait, we'll look at some frequently asked questions that we received from students from previous webinars. And these questions may address some concerns that you haven't thought of yet, and hopefully they can also give you some additional insights. So I will start it off with our first question. How can I participate in class if I'm shy or not confident in my English? How can I improve my English skills?
So we do get this question a lot. I would say if you are shy or not confident in your English, start small, participate in smaller discussions, ask questions after class, or attend the office hour, or even use support like the ESL, which is the English as a Second Language Open Learning Center, or the English Conversation Partners Program, which could help you enhance your English skills.
Thank you, An. Another question that we also get a lot is, what is academic advising and why is it so important?
So, academic advising is a session designed to help you make informed and thoughtful decision about your academic pathway as you progress through your program. So again, you are not expected to figure out everything alone in terms of your course and everything. So which is why there's academic advising to help you with all of that. It is also important because advisors help you understand the degree requirements, course choices, and also academic options as well.
Thank you. Another question that we also get is how can I best prepare for the first day?
As Henri has mentioned earlier, to prepare for the first day, check your schedule. And so in the schedule, there will be your class information as well, such as the class locations and campus room locations, again, travel time, and also weather. Since the weather can be very unpredictable here, it is best to always check the weather app before coming to class.
Thank you, An. And someone also has asked us before, how are the assignments and exams structured?
So for assignments and exams, it really varies in each course. Each course is m mainly different. So I would say reviewing your course outline or course syllabus would be the best idea before classes begin.
And finally, what is the syllabus? I know we already talked about that, but if you can expatiate more on what a syllabus is and how can students take advantage of it?
So again, a syllabus is basically like a course roadmap. It have all the details for you to plan deadlines regarding assignments, exams, and different types of assessment, as well as understanding the grading and managing your workload. You can take advantage of this by looking and reading the course syllabus beforehand, and as you move on through the semester, check again for extra information on the syllabus.
Thank you. And again, reminder that these are the questions that many new students share or have in common. So if one of them or more than one applies to you, you're definitely not alone. So now we'll take a look at a few of our upcoming webinars and events with the links that will also be placed in the chat for you. And in the meantime, you can also continue to use the Q&A feature if you have any more questions during this portion of the webinar. And I'll pass it on to Anne.
Thank you, Rachel. So for our incoming graduate students, we also have a session for you. This webinar will cover academic expectations, teaching and learning styles, and academic integrity, as well as key resources for success. So this session is helpful for next steps for students entering graduate studies at York University. Next, as you prepare to arrive to Canada, the Arriving at the Canadian Border webinar will help you as an incoming student understanding what documents to bring, what to expect at customs, and key immigration tips for arrival. So please scan this QR code to join the webinar. And look ahead at your first year at York webinar will focus on incoming students need to know about their first academic year, including deadlines, holidays, exams, and more. This is a great session to understand the academic calendar at York U, help make helpful academic make helpful sorry helpful academic resources available at your queue. I will now pass it back to Rachel to finish off with a bit of intro for Border Pass as well as the closing remarks. Sorry, Rachel, you're muted.
So now I'm going to turn your attention quickly to a service that will be helpful in your pre-arrival journey known as Border Pass. Border Pass is an immigration management platform that is offered in partnership with York University that guides students through every required document and uses AI to flag potential issues before your study permit applications are submitted. And each student study permit application receives a full review from a Canadian immigration lawyer who submits it to IRCC at no extra cost beyond the standard government fees And next, we have our events calendar, where you can not only find our upcoming events, but also our next drop-in sessions, an appointment with our immigration advisors. And you can also register for this directly from the calendar. And I will highly suggest that you folks bookmark this calendar to your browsers for easy references. And if you do not want to miss out any of the fun and engaging content that we have, please follow us on social media to stay updated with everything that York International has to offer. And as we wrap up, please take a moment to save any links that were shared and also any resources that you want to explore later on. Before we end today's webinar, we'll take a quick look at the chat to see if there are any last minute questions. And we have one here that's asking, when can we see the syllabus? So on.
So once you enrolled in the courses, and then the courses will be added to your e-class, and then by then you can review the syllabus. And I would say if you want to really prepare ahead, and if you're not enrolled in e-class yet, so I would say check for previous year syllabus, as mostly it has similar weighting, but I would say the best option is to wait when you are registered in e-class, and then by then you can check the syllabus, which is inside your course e-class.
Right now we have no more questions. And if you do, now is the perfect time to drop it. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope the session helped you feel more prepared for the Canadian classroom and also more confident about starting your academic journey here at York. So please stay connected, stay informed, and we'll look forward to seeing you at future York International sessions. And we're very excited for you to begin your journey. Have a great day, everyone.